Out of California's roadmap for reopening. This morning, local counties like Solano, Yolo, San Joaquin, and Stanislaus still waiting for the all clear from the state to move forward to reopen. And there is some good news for Sacramento County, now one of 26 counties moving deeper into stage 2 of the 4 phases of reopening. Our Carlos Herrera is live in Old Sacramento explaining how and when some places will get to open their doors.
Walt, it's mainly dine-in restaurants and more retail businesses just like these here in Old Sacramento that now have the okay to reopen just in time for Memorial Day weekend. But not so fast. Before they actually open back up, they need to prove to the state that they're actually making some changes inside to make sure that their employees and guests are safe. Stores and swap meets have to provide hand sanitizer for guests at the entrance, make sure everyone is at least 6 feet apart, and employees must wear face coverings. Changes at dine-in restaurants include social distancing in the dining room with at least 6 feet between tables, and the staff must use personal protective equipment.
Those servers will have to wear masks, as do cooks. There'll be disposable menus, and people will be asking questions of folks up front before the patrons enter about symptoms that they may have had, obviously to screen out people who potentially have COVID.
County officials say places like small offices, childcare, outdoor gyms, and outdoor museums can also reopen, but hair and nail salons can't, and any large in-person gatherings are not allowed. Public transportation will also go back to full operations. Now, we do know that the state gave the okay, but even though they did that, the county still needs to come out and issue a new modified order tomorrow that would replace the current order that expires on Friday. Walt, at yesterday's Board of Supervisors meeting, the supervisors did mention June 12th as a possible extension to the stay-at-home order. However, it will be a modified order, again, with all these new businesses reopening. I'll send it back over to you for now.
Yeah, Carlos in Old Sacramento. Carlos, there's just enough businesses open in Old Sac right now for tourists or any locals if they want to walk around. Even Candy Heaven was open yesterday, so there's just enough in Old Sac to make it worth your while to head back down there to check it out. All right, Carlos, thank you.